I think that's fucking visible. Welcome to What's Niggling Me. Actually, you know what? I'll pull it up. Jimmy Carter has got this good book, and I'll just show it, and then tomorrow I'll be going through audio clips of his book. Palestine. Peace, not apartheid. And then I talked to Mom earlier about him, and she said, yeah, he seemed like a good human. This guy right here. Nice guy, humanitarian. Brave guy writing that fucking book. So I was gonna tell you about this guy, Arnon Milchan, and I type in Arnon and then I put M-I, and what pops up? Him, and it says next to it, Israeli film producer and former spy. It's not even what I was going to bring him up about, and it's funny it says that. So
former spy is awesome.
Yeah. So this guy right here, he's in the BB files. This billionaire guy here, he is the founder of production company Regency, I think that's how you say that word, Regency Enterprises. Made, okay, let's see what movies you might know. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, you know it?
Yep.
Fight Club with Brad Pitt, you know it?
No.
He made the JFK movie, like the real popular one with Oliver Stone. I don't know if you know who that is. He just did he was in, like, he was testifying, like, in front of Congress about, like, JFK files. And he was on PBD before. He was talking about a lot of Israeli connections. I know Patrick Bet-David didn't like that. I don't think he expected that when he had him on about the JFK files. He did the Revenant. I think that's the bear one or something like that. I think it's Leonardo DiCaprio. He out in the wild. I think he gets eaten by a bear or something. He did 12 Years a Slave. I know you didn't see that one. That was a pretty crazy movie. The Big Short, it was about the financial crisis. It had like big actors, Christian Bale, you know, who's the Office guy? What's his name? Steve Carell, you know. Brad Pitt was in it, Ryan Gosling. Tons of fucking money. Those guys probably made it, like, that's a lot of money to pay. And the movie is real good. I remember talking to Uncle Ron about it because he loved that movie, and because it explained it pretty good how the system was just fake. They're just fucking giving everyone loans, and it was just, they were giving like strippers loans. Just everybody was getting loans in the States. It was just a matter of time before they couldn't pay it back, and fucking everything just crumbled. Says Milchan was also an Israeli intelligence operative from the mid-1960s to the mid-1980s. 2024 net worth puts him at 3.3 billion. 13th wealthiest in Israel. Born in, which is hilarious, mandatory Palestine, to a Jewish family. Not Israel. Mandatory Palestine. Mother descended from European Jewish disciples of the Rabbi Vilna Gaon. Came to Palestine in the fucking 1800s. He's the 8th generation of his family in the country. Father owned a fertilizer company. That's where all the money came from. Dad died at 21, and he inherited it all. Turned the company into a successful chemical business. Earned a degree in economics in England. And then became a secret Israeli intelligence organization. He was recruited to Lechem. Never heard of it. A secret Israeli intelligence organization responsible for obtaining technology and material for Israel's nuclear program and other highly secretive programs. Haven't read this. First time reading it. And boy, does it make me laugh. Oh, in that book, Jimmy Carter says, Jimmy Carter was the president of the United States and says Israel has a nuclear program. The former president of the United States said it. He wasn't speculating. He said they did. And he had been there multiple times over decades.
Why did they kill him? Why did they kill him?
Jimmy Carter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So then this guy somehow gets into film production in 1977. Early work with Martin Scorsese, who is huge, Robert De Niro, Roman Polanski, the pedophile, and then Robert De Niro, I heard a lot of speculation. I don't know, but I heard a lot of speculation that he'd like to go to Europe because they are cool with it, the young stuff. Sergio Leone. I don't know. What the fuck did that say? Sergio Leone was an Italian filmmaker credited as the pioneer of the spaghetti western genre. What the fuck is that? Teddy Gilliam. Popular guy. Oliver Stone. And more movies down here. You haven't seen any of those.
Right now.
Intelligence career. Speculation about Milchan's involvement in arms dealing and intelligence activities was sparked after the indictment in 1985 of Dr. Dick Kelly Smith, an aerospace executive and scientist who had made illegal shipments of Crytrons. What the fuck is that? Crytron is a cold cathode, it looks like a light bulb, cathode gas-filled tube intended for use as a very high-speed switch. Somewhat similar to the Thyratron, whatever the fuck that is. It consists of a sealed glass tube with 4 electrodes, a small triggering pulse on the grid electrode switches the tube on, allowing... What is this thing? What is this for? Tell me what this thing's for. Originally developed for transmitters during World War II. What is the use of this thing? There had to be a use for someone to create this. Is it for rockets? Jesus fuck. I'm trying to read through applications. Crytons and their variations are manufactured by Perkin-Elmer components and used in a variety of industrial and military devices. They are best known for the use in igniting, exploding bridge wire, and slapper detonators in nuclear weapons. Their original application, either directly spytrons, are usually used for this, or by triggering high-power spark gap switches. So they wanted to be able to explode or detonate nuclear weapons. Okay. Oh, fuck, man. Right after that word, it says, which could be used as nuclear weapon triggers. And I decided to click on it and try and read about it. And it just told me right after the word. Through one of Milchan's companies. This remained largely in the category of rumor until biographers Mir Doron and Joseph Gelman wrote a controversial, unauthorized biography of Milchan and was published in July 2011. Which is largely sympathetic to Milchan, revealed in detail how he involved himself in espionage, big-ticket arms dealing, and obtaining sensitive technology and materials for Israel's nuclear weapons program. The research in Confidential, The Life of Secret Agent Turned Hollywood Tycoon, established that at least through the mid-80s, Milchan was a fully fledged operative for Israel's top secret intelligence agency, Lechem. I'm going to open a new tab so I can look at Lechem after. His activities included buying components to build and maintain Israel's nuclear arsenal and supervising government-backed accounts and front companies that the special needs of the entirety of Israel's intelligence operations outside the country. Interviewed regarding Milchan's intelligence activities, Israeli President Shimon Peres stated, "Arnon is a special man. It was I who recruited him when I was at the Ministry of Defense. Arnon was involved in numerous defense-related procurement activities and intelligence operations." This seems like a credible source, right? The former Israeli president. His strength is in making connections at the highest levels. His activities gave us a huge advantage strategically, diplomatically, and technologically. 2 years later, he was confronted on camera. The architect stated, Perez, the architect of Israel's secret nuclear weapons program in the 60s, stated that in the 1960s he recruited Milchan to work for the Israeli Bureau of Scientific Relations. Lechem. I've heard of Rafi a ton. Lechem. Oh, Lakum. Nah, that's not Lakum. I'm gonna go with it's Lechem. I don't have the, what do you want to call it, accent they probably have for it. Milchan acknowledged that he was a secret arms dealer for the Israeli government and claimed to have used his connections to promote the apartheid regime in South Africa in exchange for helping Israel to acquire uranium for its nuclear program. I indirectly learned more about the nuclear program today. Uranium. You know who had uranium in South Africa? Peter Thiel's dad. He had a uranium mine in South Africa. And probably around that time. Klaus Thiel. Uranium mine. First thing, Peter Thiel's radioactive childhood. Substack, iHeart. Oh man, they do not want me to find this. This is an awesome one. Bloomberg.com, April 14th, 2025. The nuclear power company has raised $50 million in a new funding round. It says Peter Thiel joins board of enriched uranium startup.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay, what's this one right here? Ooh, not gonna be able to see that on the phone. That's a bright screen. That's in Canada. I see the mining in Canada, but what about South Africa? I know you were down there close. I'm sure one of my phones has an article on it. Oh, it's going to give me an AI thing too, eh? Klaus Thiel, the father of Peter Thiel, worked on a uranium mine in what was then South Africa / occupied Namibia. He was involved in the construction of the, that's probably a long O, construction of the Rosing uranium mine, which was part of a secret operation to provide uranium for the apartheid regime's nuclear program. I knew it! Settled. Back to Arnon Milchan. There's the connection. In June 2023, Milchan provided some details about the friendship he developed with the future Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during his time as an intelligence officer, with the two having gone from being simple acquaintances to knowing each other, in quotations, like brothers.
Weird.
I watched him in the interrogations, and he said he doesn't want anything to do with Netanyahu anymore. Now I'm curious, like, those are older interrogations. I'm curious, as of today, how life is, how well he's living.
And if they're in contact?
It says right in here, portions of Milchan's interrogation by the Israeli police were covered in the 2024 political documentary, The Bibi Files. So I watched them. There was more apparently, but he got helped with his right here. And Israeli police recommended that Arnon Milchan, alongside Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, be charged with bribery. The recommendation in the case, nicknamed Case 1000, relates to alleged bribes Milchan provided to. No, he admitted them. I watched the interrogation. Provided to Netanyahu in exchange for special tax exemption legislation believed to benefit Milchan in his homeland Israel. And then Netanyahu went and did it. Like, he admits it in his interrogation. He did it.
Fuck.
What's that?
I said fuck. There's no rules for certain people.
I know. An alleged ploy to extend Milchan's status as a returning resident to allow him to take advantage of tax breaks. According to the police, the gifts from Milchan were worth more than 1 million shekels. I don't have the conversion. So it pretty, like, this guy right here, he had quite a bit of interrogations in there. And he hooked up his wife with a necklace too. Oh yeah, and big on art collecting. I remember hearing in that documentary about, like, that's like a big trick. And I don't know if I told you that before, but I remember listening to a guy on a podcast saying, like, that's the best way to launder money is art.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you can just say, oh yeah, we think it's worth this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just forever been a thing. And that's why I think Hitler was collecting art like crazy. He, like, on his whole mission throughout Europe, collecting, like, everybody's art everywhere was a number one thing. He collected so much art because it could be worth a ton of fucking money, and it's lighter than money and gold and everything. Okay, there's this other guy. Leopold von Mildstein. When was Arnon born? 1944. Leopold was born in 1902.
Jesus.
in Prague, Austria, Hungary. His allegiance? Nazi Germany. And what's so weird, from 1932 to 1945, years of service, what's an officer? And boy, is it weird. This guy never got in any trouble. No trouble. This guy was an officer for over a decade in the Nazi regime. And this guy ended up with no problems. This guy eventually went to the United States. It says this guy was an SS officer who is remembered as a leading supporter in the Nazi Party of some of the aims of Zionism during the 1930s. So I was like looking at the connections, because Zionists, like I've really come to learn, like a lot of them, like even so Netanyahu is not a religious person. He's Jewish, but he doesn't practice the religion. There's a lot of them that don't practice the religion. The Rothschilds, they didn't, well, I can't say all of them. A lot of them didn't practice the religion. They're Jewish, but like they're not religious. Like, they're not trying to like, how do I even explain it? They don't have, these people, well, I'm not saying that you should have religion to have morals, but like these people are not trying to have good morals or anything like that, right? You know what I mean? Are you sleeping? Sleeping. I'll go over this guy tomorrow.